What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Mixing It Up podcast. I'm your host again, Nate Tusing, looking a little glowy today. But today I'm going to be doing the pregame review, in-depth analysis, kind of looking at the Packers versus Bengals week 5. Big game coming up. It's a 1:00 game in Cincinnati. I'm excited for it. It should be a really good game. I think a lot of people are underrating how this game's going to go, and I think it's going to be a blowout. But I'm feeling good. I'm having a little flashbacks to I think 3 years ago when we were 4-1 and we went into prime time to play the Chiefs and we got blown out. So I'm hoping that doesn't repeat here. But yeah, I'm just going to break down the games and see what's going on here. So a bit ago, I should have posted the injury report coming up, but just to break that down for you guys, if you didn't see that video, Joe Mixon is still day-to-day. This is recorded on a Friday afternoon. We won't know until Saturday, midday after practice. Zach Taylor says that he will wait until after that practice to make a game time decision. So we'll be monitoring that. Some other questionables or doubtfuls that were going on. Trey Hopkins will be good to start, so that's great to have Trey Hopkins. T. Higgins is also going to be starting. That's really going to be good for our pass game. Mike Thomas is out or is doubtful. Most likely won't play, but that's okay because we got T. Higgins back. And today, or for this Sunday, knock on wood, hopefully nothing happens in practice tomorrow. But if nobody gets injured on Sunday, this will be the first time we've had all 5 of our starting secondary lined up today. Or on Sunday, we'll have Trey Waynes, Mike Hilton, Chidobe Awuzie, Von Bell, and Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates, Trey Waynes, and Chidobe Awuzie are all cleared to play. So that also is going really well. Xavier Su'a-Filo, unfortunately, is going to be put on the IR. So for the next 3 weeks, at least, Jackson Carman will be coming in, which honestly, he looked pretty solid against the Jaguars. I'm really impressed by how he's doing so far. So I'm okay with that. But let's get into the matchups. Just looking at the ESPN, the Packers right now have a 53% chance. We have a 46% chance. It's a -3 spread for the Packers. I'm kind of shocked that it's this close. A lot of times mainstream media over or underrates us. I think maybe here they're overrating us. I don't really know. But hey, we're 3-1. They're 3-1. We've both played some good games. But let's get into the in-depth part of this, not just looking at the percentages, because there's so much more to football than just numbers. But I say that, and then I'm going to go right into numbers. One thing that has been really impressive, so we'll go to the Bengals first. They have 23 points per game, which I think could be a little bit higher. We need to get our offense going a little bit more. I mean, look at the teams we played. We played the Steelers, we played the Bears, the Vikings, the Jags. We should score a little bit more than 23 points. But here's the thing that's really impressed me so far is the Bengals defense. We have only allowed 18 points this year. We're top 10 in almost every defensive category. I think we're 11th in passing yards. We're 11th in rushing yards. But overall, we're in the top 10 in points allowed. So really good for the Bengals. Their defense has really stepped up. People like Logan Wilson, Trey Hendrickson. We'll get into that a little bit. Let's flip over to the Packers. They're also averaging 23 points a game, 23.8, so a little bit more, but their defense has not been there. They've been outscored. Technically, they should be outscored, but they've allowed 25 points a game. But somehow they've squeaked out 3-1 wins. You look at the teams they've played. They played the Steelers. We played the Steelers. We both had pretty commanding wins against them. They played the 49ers, really close game there. I'm shocked Aaron Rodgers won that game. They beat the Lions and then got blown out by the Saints in week 1. Whereas we beat the Vikings, lost to the Bears, tough loss there, blew out the Steelers, and then came back and beat the Jags. So on paper, the Packers have played more impressive teams and have won. But in the same time, we've both had the same record. A win's a win. It doesn't matter how you get it. We have more yards on offense at 345, more passing and rushing yards, just a little bit. It's not super close. They have 333. So it's pretty close. But then our defense is really stepping up in the run game. It was a little rough last week against James Robinson, so we're going to have to be able to stop Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, who, not unfortunately, but they will be starting this game. And another big thing is Jair Alexander being out. That's going to be really big for our team. But I mean, looking at Joe Burrow versus Aaron Rodgers, two great quarterbacks. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has 900 yards, 8 tutties, and 2 interceptions. And Joe Burrow's right there with almost 1,000, 9 tutties and 4 interceptions. Joe Burrow's got a 113.8 passer rating. I mean, this is just awesome. They're both going to be playing lights out here. And of course, we don't know what Joe Mixon's going to do. But if Joe Mixon is going to be in out and he won't start, Zach Taylor said this will be a committee running back with Samaje Perine and Chris Evans. And I'm excited for that. I think Chris Evans is a really explosive running back, and I think he can do big things. So I'm excited for that. And then, yeah, they have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, another great running back core, both good guys. Aaron Jones has had a slow start, but, Joe Mixon has had an explosive, so hopefully he can stay in. I mean, but let's look into the keys to the game, some big question marks. Obviously, a big question mark is, will Joe Mixon even play? This is going to be a big thing. Joe Mixon's been averaging around 20 carries a game, getting, 70 to 90 yards per game and maybe a touchdown. So with Joe Mixon going out, that's going to affect us a lot. I don't know if that'll affect us in a good way or bad way. I mean, don't get me wrong, Joe Mixon's such a big impact, but there might be something special if he's not. Zach Taylor might whip something up, which I'm hoping for. That's a big one. This is one of the biggest things that I think we're going to watch tonight's or Sunday's game is who's going to cover Jamar. Shire Alexander is out. So there is nobody on that team that can cover Jamar one-on-one. So what does that mean? Does that mean they're going to double cover Jamar? Well, then that's great. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are wide open. They're going to be able to win their trades, or are they just going to leave him to do his thing? So I think Jamar is due for a big game. Another thing that has been interesting is, can the Bengals defensive line attack a weak Packers O-line? The Packers O-line is allowed 3 sacks a game. I think maybe there's somewhere around there, maybe a little less. But, the Bengals are going to have to get to them. Trey Hendrickson's doing pretty solid, 2.5 sacks right now. Larry Ogunjobi has also been cleared to play, so he will be starting. That's really solid. Sam Hubbard, another great, asset there. And then, of course, you got DJ Reader, a great run blocker. So can this new defensive line attack that weakened offensive line on the Packers? So that's going to be another big thing. And another thing, obviously, the Packers don't have the best defense. They don't have the most sacks per game. So I'm not too worried about that. But can the Bengals protect Joe Burrow? I mean, the first 2 games we gave up 5 sacks. Third game we didn't give up 1, and then the fourth game we gave up 1. So I don't know which Bengals O-line is going to show up, but can we protect Joe Burrow? Can we give him time to throw the ball? I mean, look what happened last Thursday against the Jaguars. We gave him time in the second half, and he went to work. He said, "Put the ball in my hands. I'm going to carry this game." So that's a big question. Can Joe Burrow be kept safe? And that's probably my biggest question with everybody on the secondary being healthy. Who's gonna take Devontae Adams? Is it gonna be Trey Waynes? Probably. Chidobe Awuzie was really impressive weeks 1 and 2 against Allen Robinson and Justin Jefferson. He did a phenomenal job. Eli Apple in the second position did not help because Adam Thielen blew up. Darnell Mooney blew up on the Bears, or not Cordell, but who's gonna cover Devontae Adams? And on top of that, they have a decent core, but I think our cornerbacks are a little bit better. Mike Hilton will be on Randall Cobb. That'll be easy. Robert Tony and Bob Ton. He's not going to do too crazy. He hasn't been doing too much. But come to our side, looking at our core, we got Jamar, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and CJ Uzama. Uzama is what my friend called him after last week's performance. How are you going to stop that? How is the Packers going to stop that? It's going to be hard for the Bengals to stop Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. But I'd put my money on betting on more than just one person. What I mean by that is the Bengals have a lot of weapons. So if they figure out a system with stopping Jamar, it's okay. T. Higgins will pop off. Tyler Boyd will pop off. We've got plenty of weapons. If we clamp Devontae Adams, who's he going to throw to? I think that's going to be a big thing to watch here. And let's just get into a little predictions. I like doing these. I'm still figuring out the layout of how I want to do these pre-games, but I'll get into the predictions stat-wise. I think Joe Burrow is going to have an explosive game. I think he's going to have 350-plus passing yards. He hit that against the Jaguars, and that was pretty much all in the first half or second half. So I don't think the Packers will give him too much trouble, and I think he's going to be explosive here. I think whoever is on the running back committee, I'm not even going to say this for Joe Mixon. It's just Chris Evans and Samaje Perine too. I think there's going to be 150 rushing yards total plus between whoever it is, because the Packers are struggling in a lot of ways. And whether or not Joe Mixon gets in or not, I think Zach Taylor will account for the run. We have to get the run game activated. So I'm excited for that. Jamar Chase, I think since he can't be covered by Jair Alexander, who can cover him, and he's going to have his first 100 yards game with a touchdown. T. Higgins will have like 50 plus and maybe a touchdown. Tyler Boyd's really underrated, everybody. I mean, the dude had a huge game on Thursday, but nobody was talking about it. He had 119 receiving yards or 18 receiving yards. Very, very underlooked that game. Trey Hendrickson, I think he's going to have a big game. I'm hoping for at least 2 sacks out of him. I'm hoping for at least 4 sacks out of the Bengals. That would be swell. That would really help put pressure on Aaron Rodgers and force some bad throws to Davante Adams. And hopefully those bad throws can be intercepted by our own Logan Wilson. This guy's been playing lights out coming into his, I never know what year, his second year. Coming into his second year, dude's been playing lights out. 3 interceptions, a sack, a fumble, 40 tackles. Now, if I were to check back last year, I'm pretty sure he had 40 tackles total. So this is so big. He's having such a big jump. He's doing well. Jesse Bates is going to, I'm excited to see him play again. He's just so good at reading the quarterback and just knowing where he needs to go. He'll probably spend most of his time with Davante Adams' side of the field, but I'm excited to see that. And then, yeah, I think this is going to be a good game. Looking at skill base straight down the road. Now, a lot of people do this, but that doesn't indicate who's going to win. I mean, you look at the quarterbacks. Joe Burrow's doing great, but I got to give the edge to Aaron Rodgers. It's just, it's Aaron Rodgers. Don't get me wrong. Joe Burrow, I think, is going to be amazing. But I think right now, Aaron Rodgers, you can't go wrong with him. At running back, it's Joe Mixon. If he's not playing, then it'll be Aaron Jones. But I think Joe Mixon is a better running back than Aaron Jones, especially this year. He's getting more yards per carry, more yards, more carries, more just everything. He's just doing a lot better. Receiving core, I know Davante Adams is one of the best wide receivers in the league, but I think the Bengals have a better receiving core. We have so many weapons, and it's almost impossible to stop 4 good wide receivers. People forget about Auden Tate. That guy's underrated. Tight ends, I have it at equal because I think CJ Uzomah is underrated. I think Robert and Tonyan, I don't even know how you say it. I think they're both at the same level. I mean, they're both great playmakers. They can make big plays on offense. They're not the first target, so I'm going to give it equal to them. Green Bay is going to get the O-line here just because they've allowed less sacks than we have. We had those 2 weeks where it was rough, but I'm optimistic about our offensive line where we've only allowed 1 sack in the last 2 games, especially against the Steelers who had that record of like 1 sack in a game for the last like 26 games, and we ended that. So that was also without TJ Watt, but yeah, I'm hoping that the Bengals offensive line can do better. I think we have the edge on the defensive line. Trey Hendrickson has just been lights out. Larry Ogunjobi, Sam Hubbard, even Cam Samples getting in. I wish we had Joseph Asai so bad. It stinks that he went down with that season-ending injury in preseason. But who we have now is still great. I'm really excited about that. You move into the linebacking core. I think just how Logan Wilson's playing, and even Akeem Davis Gaither, who also is he's not questionable. He's going to play. He's also been playing lights out. I'm really excited about this linebacker core that is just popping out. Jermaine Pratt also doing good, very underrated, getting a lot of tackles. I think he's second with like 30. So they're good. They're a good, strong core. Move into the secondary. It's the Bengals without a doubt. I mean, even with Jair Alexander, I think you still give it to the Bengals. Jesse Bates, the best safety in the NFL. Von Bell and Jesse Bates, I think, is one of the best duos. Trey Waynes, yeah, he got beat last week once or twice, but he wasn't bad. Chidobe Awuzi's really solid. And Mike Hilton, the best slot corner in the league. I don't see how you can do much against that. And even Davante Adams, I think, will struggle a bit. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. I think that this is going to be a shootout game. The defenses will do what they can, but I think this is going to come down to can our offense convert. And so I have right now the Bengals winning 34-31 with a game-winning field goal. I'm hoping it doesn't get down to that close because another game-winning field goal will give me a heart attack. But I think it'll be an entertaining game for sure. I think both teams are going to have great offensive drives here and there. I'm worried about Zach Taylor, though. I mean, you look at last week, the first half we did nothing. If we go down, if we don't score in the first half against the Packers, it's going to be like 28-0. It's not going to be 14-0 against the Jags and Trevor Lawrence. Like, we need to get off to a more explosive start this week. And I hope Zach Taylor can figure that out. Call more play actions, give Joe Burrow the ball more, So I hope we can have a more explosive first half, and then we just have to close the games out because we've had leads and we just can't close them out. So we got to keys to win, start off strong, establish the run, get to Jamar or figure out the hole in their defense, and don't lose the lead. That's pretty much it. Let's go Bengals, 3-1. They're in Cincinnati. They're in our jungle. They're in our home turf. So if you're going to the game, bring the noise, bring the volume. I hear the Packers team or fans travel well, so don't let them make too much noise. Let's get a victory, boys. 4-0. Here we come. We're making a statement win against this Packers team. Who they say gonna beat the Bengals? Certainly not the Packers. Let's go Bengals, boys. I'll see you guys soon.